A suitcase was found under a bridge. They opened it and out rolled a suitcase was found under a bridge. They opened it and out rolled a small body wrapped in blankets. The body was soon identified as Gannon. He had been shot in the jaw, stabbed, and suffered a skull fracture. Let's take the story from the top. Colorado Springs, right smack dab in the middle of the state, is where this started. Mandan Drive, in a neighborhood on the very southwestern side of town, surrounded by pretty much nothing at all. In a house there lived Eugene Al Stauch, his wife Letitia Stauch, and their 3 children. 17-year-old Harley Hunt, Letitia's daughter from a previous relationship, and 11-year-old Gannon, and 8-year-old Lena Stauch, Al's children from a previous relationship. Al and Letitia had married in 2015, and Al himself, he worked in the military. He was working in the Army National Guard full-time and was frequently based around the country.
Do y'all think the dad has something to do with this, or do y'all think the girlfriend has something to do with this crazy story we about to watch?
Based around the country, stationed for weeks at a time. Letitia, she'd worked in education for pretty much most of her life. At 36 years of age, in 2020, she was going through orientation for an assistant position at Mountain Ridge Middle School. However, in late January, that offer, as they say, was rescinded. This was due to her employers finding a number of inconsistencies in her applications. She had a small criminal history. Never anything serious, but stuff like communicating threats, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and that was pretty much it. On the 24th of January 2020, when she was let go from, that position, that was just at the time her husband, Al Stauch, was about to go on his way to Oklahoma to a military base there. 3 days after Letitia Stauch was fired, on the 27th of January, Gannon Stauch went missing. That night, Gannon had not returned home after heading out that day to see some friends. Letitia Stauch was the one who reported him missing, dialing 911 at 6:55 p.m. She said he was supposed to have been home, an hour ago. He left the home in the afternoon at around 3 p.m. to go visit some friends, and he hadn't been seen since. When he never returned, Letitia called his friends, called around. They had no clue where he was, and so the alarm was raised that dark winter evening. Neighbors, friends, everyone was out quickly in search of the young fella. Tip lines, drones, the news, you name it. Police looked through the Stauch house and spread out from that epicenter. Al, who had left home on the night of the 25th to fly to Oklahoma to a military base, he returned home on the 28th to help find his son. He was a great kid, he was kind, and he was not a troublemaker. He wouldn't run away or whatever for whatever reason. Blood was found in the house. The day Gannon went missing, when he went to visit friends and never returned, things were very, very weird in that house. And it was pretty much just Letitia and Gannon. Harley, she was at work. Lena, the youngest, she was in school, so it was just the two of them. A neighbor's CCTV would show that on the 27th of January, at about 10:30 a.m., Letitia and Gannon walked out of the house. And Gannon walked strange and moved slowly as if he was drugged. They got out of the car and they drove off. It would later be determined they had driven to pet stores. They got home at 2:20, and you can't really see Gannon come home, but it's believed he was there. Then Letitia did this interview.
You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together. And
That's because your ass did something, and you ain't trying to, incriminate yourself, because for the simple fact, you ain't have to do that to a little boy, but hopefully we find out why she did what she did,
not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it.
It would turn out that this was Letitia's second take. She asked for a redo. She was thinking, I could sell some of those better. Let me do that again. So she answered it like this.
We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
After this interview.
Then you want to know another crazy thing about this whole situation is how she gonna ask for a motherfucking retake. How you gonna ask for a freaking retake and then put more emotion into it, like you really, scared that the outcome might not be good, and now you're asking the community to have faith. And yeah, the community needs to have faith to find out why your ass did what you did, because this shit was uncalled for.
After this interview, Letitia and her daughter Harley, in the middle of this huge investigation and search, she drove with her daughter to Florida, and she would later, March 2nd, arrested in Myrtle Beach for the murder of Gannon Stout. That was finally when the judge signed off on the warrant for her.
Tisha, give me your arm.
I will to you.
Tisha, give me. Tisha, give me your
I
arm.
will to you, but not to
Cooperate
her.
with me. Cooperate with me.
I will with you, but not with her.
And then, on March 17th, a suitcase was found under a bridge in Pace, Florida. Bridge inspectors with the Department of Transportation saw a suitcase just under the bridge. They opened it, and out rolled a small body wrapped in blankets in the fetal position. The body was soon identified as Gannon, and it was determined he had been shot in the jaw, stabbed, and suffered a skull fracture. He had defensive wounds, and he'd been drugged too, with painkillers. Well, it's believed that after they walked into the house together, she murdered him in his room after drugging him. After she killed him, she put his body in a suitcase. The trial began in spring of 2023. It took the jury just 7 hours to find her guilty, and within minutes the judge sentenced her twice to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me. It means so much to me. As always, please look after each other and yourselves. Because I love you.
Man, that's sad as hell, man. You killed that little boy for nothing, just because you a crazy lunatic. And it's sad that we never found out or know why you did what you did, because he's just an innocent child, an innocent kid that, you know, that didn't deserve it, to be honest. If I had to be honest, he didn't deserve that. Just for the simple fact, you crazy lady. Man, rest in peace, little man.
A maternity ward in this California hospital is closing down after this 31-year-old died while giving birth to her first child.
April Valentine was 31 years old.
Her loved ones are demanding justice and filed a wrongful death lawsuit. They say the ward followed systemic and racist practices.
We are here to amplify the story of April Valentine.
When she went to the hospital in labor, her partner says the doctor didn't arrive for hours. As her labor continued, the lawsuit says that hospital staff didn't alert her doctor as her vitals changed.
They said, well, we can't call the doctor will cuss us out.
The baby was delivered by an emergency C-section, but the mom didn't make it. The coroner ruled that she died from a blood clot. The attorney for the doctor that treated her said in a statement that she could not comment on her patient's treatment and did not cause her death. And a spokesperson for the hospital said they dispute the allegations and are, quote, dedicated to delivering compassionate, quality care to all patients, and that they are closing their maternal ward because the demand for maternal health services at Centinela has exponentially decreased over the past few years. The ward is set to shut down in October.